Hi, my name is Ken, and I'm a student at the most famous cooking school in the world, Le Cordon Bleu, just a few blocks from the Eiffel Tower. The Cordon Bleu Cuisine and Pastry School was founded in Paris in 1895. It owes its name to the ancient and prestigious Royal Order of the Holy Spirit, known as the Order of the Cordon Bleu. As a result, the name Cordon Bleu became synonymous with culinary excellence. Like the students, you too will benefit from the chef's experience, nearly a century of experience in teaching gastronomy. The program is organized in the form of complete menus, from easy to prepare to the more elaborate recipes which will take you progressively towards discovering the subtle nuances of traditional haute cuisine.
Fricassé de poulet à l'ail et à la sauge, gratin de courgettes.
Fricasseed chicken with garlic and sage, zucchini gratin. Serves 6. A 4.5-pound chicken, salt, pepper, a half a cup of olive oil, 20 cloves of garlic, peeled, 1 bunch of fresh sage, 1.5 cups of dry white wine, 1.5 cups of hot water, and 1 sprig of parsley. Chef Christian Georges is going to prepare a chicken fricassee cooked with garlic, sage, and white wine. It will be served with a zucchini gratin, prepared with 1.5 pounds of tomatoes, 4 medium onions, 3 cloves of garlic, 4 tablespoons of olive oil, 4 tablespoons of thyme, 1.5 pounds of zucchini, a half a cup of grated Parmesan cheese, salt, and pepper. All these ingredients are typical of the Mediterranean region of Provence, which is located in the southeast of France. We'll start with the gratin. First, peel the tomatoes. To do this, remove the stem end, like this, and plunge the tomatoes into boiling water. Remove them after 30 seconds and transfer to a bowl of cold water. This technique makes it easy to remove the skin, which the chef's assistant will do now.
Pendant que Dulce émonde les tomates, je vais préparer l'ail et l'oignon pour le tian provençal. Alors je prends environ 4 oignons.
Chop the onions finely, like this.
Dans un sautoir avec de l'huile d'olive.
And put them into a pan with about 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Now chop the 3 cloves of garlic. Add them to the onion and sweat over a moderate heat. Then season with a little salt and pepper. Cut it up like this, first in halves, and cut out the backbone. You will remove the breasts and legs. Cut the breasts in 4 pieces each and the legs in 3 pieces each. Then you will have 14 pieces in all. Back to the onion and garlic for the gratin. Sprinkle it with 2 tablespoons of thyme leaves and continue cooking gently without coloring. The chicken is going to be seared in olive oil. Be generous with the olive oil, since it will be discarded later. Heat the oil, and in the meantime, season the chicken with salt and pepper, rubbing it in well, As soon as the oil starts to smoke, put the chicken pieces into the pan, skin side down, so it will not stick.
Voilà. Alors maintenant, l'ail et l'oignon, je prends un plat gratin, c'est un plat provençal.
Like Chef Georges, use this type of dish for the gratin.
L'ail, l'oignon,
Spread the cooked onion, garlic, and thyme in the bottom of it, in an even layer.
je prends des courgettes, je les coupe en
Slice
dés.
the zucchini slightly on an angle, about 3/16 of an inch thick.
Et je fais de même avec les petites tomates émondées.
The tomatoes are also sliced, the same thickness as the zucchini. Let's go back to the chicken.
L'ail,
The pieces are now well colored on all sides. Add the garlic and the sage leaves.
alors la sauge en italien s'appelle salvia parce que
Sage is called
médicinal.
salvia in Italian, which comes from the Latin word meaning to heal, because this herb has been known for centuries for its healing qualities.
Et je vais
Now
mettre
loosely cover the pan so all the flavors will combine well.
s'infuse. Pendant ce temps-là, je commence à faire le tian provençal. Alors vous mettez
Meanwhile,
d'abord
let's
une rangée de
continue with the
tomates.
gratin. Arrange the sliced tomato and zucchini in alternating rows on top of the layer of garlic and onion.
Une rangée de tomates. Alors maintenant, je vais enlever l'huile d'olive.
Discard all the excess oil from the chicken so it won't be greasy.
C'est fini. Et je vais déglacer au vin blanc.
Then you deglaze the pan with 1½ cups of dry white wine.
Bon vieux morceau pour faire
Put the
le bruit.
pan over a medium heat, cover it loosely,
Le vin blanc.
and reduce until dry.
Je pose dessus le couvercle. Et je mène à réduction complète
Now season the zucchini gratin with salt and pepper.
du sel.
The chef has sprinkled the surface with remaining thyme leaves,
Maintenant,
grated parmesan,
j'ai
and a little oil.
saupoudré le tian avec de la fleur de thym et du parmesan.
Put the gratin in the preheated oven at 380 degrees for 20 to 25
200
minutes.
degrés. Je mouille avec de
The
l'eau
wine in the pan containing the chicken has now been completely reduced, so
environ
add 1½ cups of hot water.
et je remets à cuire.
Loosely cover the pan and let it cook gently until most of the water has evaporated. At this point, the chicken will be cooked.
Alors, l'eau est presque complètement évaporée et le poulet est cuit. Je mets sur le côté.
You can present the chicken on a serving platter like this, with a few parsley leaves to decorate, and accompany it with the zucchini gratin.
Now, just imagine you're a student at the famous Cordon Bleu cooking school watching another talented chef preparing
Magret de canard au poire, duck breasts with pears poached in red wine. serves 6. Didier Beauclair will use duck breasts, which are called magret, and they will be served with pears poached in red wine. He will peel the pears and let them macerate in the red wine before poaching. This red wine is a Chinon from the Loire Valley. The poaching liquid will be used in the sauce, together with a little veal stock, wine vinegar, and sugar. The veal stock, which is made from bones and vegetables, was prepared in advance, since it requires a long cooking time. The chervil will be used to decorate the dish at the end. 12 small pears, 3 cups of red wine, 20 black peppercorns, 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter melted, 6 1/2-pound duck breasts, salt, freshly ground pepper. The sauce, 1 cup of veal stock, 3 tablespoons of sugar, 3 tablespoons of red wine vinegar, 2 cups of pear cooking liquid, 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter softened, salt, pepper, chervil, and unsalted butter for parchment paper and roasting pan. Preheat the oven at 150 degrees Fahrenheit. We are going to start with the pears. Remove the blossom stem or peduncle and peel them, leaving the stem. Then we'll cut them in halves lengthwise and remove the core and fibers with a vegetable peeler.
Le cœur de la poire, c'est-à-dire les pépins, voilà, comme ceci, avec la pointe de l'économe. Voilà, on enlève bien le centre et on va enlever une partie de la tige qui se trouve ici.
These pears will macerate for at least 30 minutes in the red wine.
Nous allons verser dessus le vin rouge. Alors pour la mariner, nous allons mettre avec quelques grains de poivre. Une vingtaine environ dans la recette.
With about 20 peppercorns.
Et ceci, nous allons les laisser comme ça pendant à peu près 30 minutes.
Turn them from side to side so they will be evenly macerated. This process is to give both flavor and color to the fruit.
On les a tournés donc à plusieurs reprises pour pouvoir.
After 30 minutes, we will cook the pears in the macerating wine and cover them with a piece of buttered parchment paper. For this, Chef Beauclair is now melting some butter in a small saucepan. Brush the paper lightly with butter so it won't stick to the pears and spoil their appearance. Also, this helps the fruit to cook evenly.
C'est pas la peine de mettre une grosse quantité de beurre. C'est juste pour empêcher le papier de coller aux poires et que ça pourrait abîmer nos poires. Alors on va commencer.
Right away, while the pears are cooking, start preparing the duck breasts. First, with the point of a knife, remove the nerve which is here. This is how you do it.
Après, on décolle légèrement. Et avec la pointe du couteau, donc on enlève le nerf.
Now trim off the excess skin, which is very fatty.
L'excédent de graisse, la peau qui est assez grasse. Et comme ceci.
You see, we just leave a little skin.
Ça se décolle tout seul.
Now score it with light crisscross incisions like this. Of course, you also remove any membrane on the meat. Now test the pears with the point of a paring knife to see if they are cooked. Remove and discard the paper. The point of the knife should enter the pears easily if they are ready. Remove the pears to drain on a rack. The assistant will arrange them rounded side up so they will maintain their shape.
Le côté bombé en l'air. Donc, ce que Robin a un peu pareil. Donc, la cuisson des poires.
Put the cooking liquid from the pears back on the heat and reduce it a little for the sauce. Measure out the veal stock and put it into a small saucepan on the stove. Next, put 3 tablespoons of sugar and 3 tablespoons of red wine vinegar into the saucepan, and we'll cook it until it caramelizes. Meanwhile, the chef is measuring out the 2 cups of reduced cooking liquid from the pears, which he will pour over the caramel. Now, brush a roasting pan with butter.
On va y mettre un petit peu de sel et un petit peu de poivre.
Sprinkle it with salt and pepper. And arrange the pears in it rounded side up. Then brush the pears with a little melted butter as well. We will put them into the oven later to reheat. Here you can see how the sugar and red wine vinegar has caramelized. The chef is pouring over the veal stock and the reduced cooking liquid from the pears. This is known as a bigarade. He is going to let the sauce reduce over a medium heat for about 15 minutes until it becomes slightly syrupy. So all we have left now is to cook the duck breasts. We'll cook them in a skillet like this one, which is heavy-bottomed. Put it on the heat so it will be very hot. Then season the duck breasts well with salt and pepper. To cook the duck breasts, we will not use any butter or oil, as the skin on the breasts contain enough fat in itself.
Et pour cuire nos madeleines canard, on n'emploiera ni matière grasse, ni beurre, ni huile, mais la matière grasse qui se trouve sur la peau du canard, c'est la graisse même du canard. Donc quand le sautoir sera bien chaud,
we will put it into the skillet skin side down. The fat between the skin and the flesh will melt, giving us our cooking fat, as well as giving a good flavor to the meat. When the breasts have been seared, we will lower the heat and cook them more gently. Don't forget, first sear the breasts over high heat. Cook on each side for about 6 minutes. Always turn them over using wooden spoons. Don't use a fork to turn the breasts, because the juices will run out and the meat will dry. The chef is going to use another skillet to cook the remaining breasts. When you do this at home, you can use the same skillet. Just remember to discard the fat before you start to cook the second batch of breasts. After all the breasts are cooked, discard the fat and deglaze the skillet with a little sauce, scraping the bottom with a wooden spoon to lift all the cooked particles, as these will give additional flavor to our sauce. Taste and adjust the seasonings of the sauce. Now we'll give it the finishing touch, stirring in little by little about 3 tablespoons of softened butter, which will make it velvety and shiny. Do this over a very low heat. While his assistant is preparing the chervil leaves for decoration, the chef will degrease the sauce by skimming the fat with a small ladle and then pulling a piece of paper towel over the surface, like this. Next, he will slice the duck breasts, but first he will deglaze the other skillet that he used to cook them and put this juice into his sauce like he did before.
Le parfum du magret. Avec la spatule en bois, on décolle bien et après, donc, on réunit le tout. Peu de sauce.
Now he is straining the sauce, and his assistant will put it in hot water to keep warm. Now back to the duck
Le magret de
breasts.
canard, on le découpe toujours en biseau. C'est-à-dire,
This is how you cut them.
on ne coupe pas son
Don't
magret de
cut them
canard
straight,
comme ceci, mais toujours
but slice on an
légèrement.
angle like this. Also put about 1 tablespoon of butter on the surface of the sauce to prevent the skin from forming.
On vérifie la température.
See if the pears are warm enough and remove them from the oven. Now cut them into slices about 1/4 inch thick.
Un demi-centimètre. Vérifiez qu'il n'est pas trop chaud, c'est pas la peine.
Here is how you can present duck breasts and pears poached in red wine. Magret de canard, duck breasts, are traditionally served in Périgord with sautéed potatoes mixed with truffles, or more simply, with chopped garlic and parsley. Coq au vin, casserole of chicken in red wine. Coq au vin is a traditional recipe from Burgundy, a region in the east of France. To prepare it, Chef Jacques Martin will use a large chicken, about 5 pounds. Smoked slab bacon cut into small cubes, known as lardons, pearl onions, and button mushrooms, or you can use bigger mushrooms and cut them into quarters. The chicken is going to be cut up and marinated. For the marinade, you will need 2 carrots, a stalk of celery, 1 tomato, 2 onions, parsley stems, thyme, 1 bay leaf, 2 garlic cloves, 20 crushed peppercorns, a bottle of red Burgundy wine, cognac, and peanut oil.
Patricia peut commencer à éplucher les petits oignons grelots, la carotte et l'oignon.
The chef's assistant is going to peel the pearl onions for the garnish. Meanwhile, the chef will cut up the chicken. First, cut it in halves,
En deux.
like this.
Ensuite,
Then
il faut
remove the
détacher
legs
les cuisses
and trim the breasts from the carcass.
comme ceci. Et selon la grosseur du coq, vous le coupez en différents morceaux.
Depending on the size of the chicken, cut the legs and breasts in 2 or 3 pieces
Vous laissez
each.
donc cette partie où il y a très peu de chair dessus. Comment?
So now we have 8 pieces of chicken, and the chef will prepare the
Le coq
marinade.
étant donc maintenant coupé, nous allons le faire mariner.
For the marinade, peel the carrots and onions, then slice them roughly.
Là, ceci. Alors, je vais... Voilà. Et couper les carottes en quartiers. Voilà. Nous ajoutons les morceaux
Put the chicken pieces in a large bowl, together with the neck, wingtips, liver, and
des
giblets.
abattis, c'est-à-dire le cou, les ailerons, le gésier et le foie.
The parsley,
Nous avons également une branche de céleri,
and the stalk of celery, which we will slice. A tomato cut in pieces,
que nous coupons en quartiers. Nous ajoutons une feuille
a
de
bay
laurier,
leaf,
une bonne branche de thym,
a sprig of thyme, and the red
vin.
wine. The wine must cover all the ingredients
Il
in
faut
the bowl.
absolument que le vin couvre entièrement la viande, la marinade. Je prends donc une petite louche que l'on appelle pochon, qui contient 5 centilitres.
Now, add a quarter of a cup of cognac.
Il nous faut 5 centilitres d'huile d'arachide
And a
également.
quarter of a cup of oil, which Chef Martin will pour over the surface. Roughly crush 20 peppercorns
Merci.
and sprinkle them over all the ingredients in the bowl.
Et il nous faut maintenant laisser
We'll let the meat
mariner
marinate
la
for at
viande
least
avec toute
12
cette
hours
marinade
in a cool
pendant
place.
minimum 12 heures.
And don't forget to add the garlic.
Alors là, ça colle sur les doigts.
The chef will mix everything well so all the flavors will blend.
Après, et nous allons non, après, oui, après. Voilà, éplucher comme ça. Le four est donc allumé
The oven
à
is
200
being
degrés.
preheated to
Il faut également
425
allumer
degrees
une plaque
Fahrenheit.
électrique.
Have the burners hot too,
Pour
since the chicken
La
pieces
plaque
must be
électrique
seared.
avec un feu vif, de façon à faire colorer les morceaux, à faire revenir les morceaux de côte.
The button
Ici,
mushrooms
les
have been
champignons sont
cleaned.
lavés. Nous allons
So,
donc
drain the
égoutter
marinated
le
chicken,
côte qui est maintenant
save the
mariné.
liquid, and keep the other ingredients separate.
Et
It is important to let everything drain well, since all the ingredients will be seared in hot oil and butter.
voilà. Et nous allons laisser bien égoutter les morceaux. Après cela, nous les ferons revenir. Commence
Put
toujours
the
par
oil in
l'huile
the
pour
pan
éviter
first, then the butter.
que le
This
beurre
prevents the butter from burning. Notice that there are 2 pans, each with 2 tablespoons of oil and 2 tablespoons of butter. One is going to be used for the chicken, and the other for the vegetables from the marinade.
Nous plaçons,
While the oil and butter are heating, dry the pieces of chicken
nous
with
plaçons
paper
les
towels.
morceaux, le côté peau en
Then
premier dans le
place
fond
them
du sauton.
into a pan, skin side down.
Voilà. Ici, je vais maintenant, dans la matière grasse, faire suer
While the chicken is coloring, sweat the marinated vegetables in the other pan.
la garniture de la marinade. Grammes de farine.
Mix everything well and let it cook for 2 to 3
La
minutes.
farine par tous les morceaux du coq. Et nous allons maintenant égoutter. Donc on peut goûter les légumes pour retirer
Drain the vegetables to remove the excess fat. And add them to the chicken.
le manche est rouge. Nous allons maintenant mouiller.
Now
avec
add the
la marinade.
marinating liquid.
Nous ajoutons un petit peu de sel.
Season with a little salt and bring to a boil. Cover with a buttered round of parchment paper, buttered side down.
Beurre.
Put a lid on and transfer the pan to the preheated oven. Cooking time will be 30 to 40 minutes.
Nous allons
The
donc
chef has
ajouter
placed the pearl onions in a low-sided saucepan with cold water barely covering them, together with salt, pepper, 1 tablespoon of butter, and 1 tablespoon of sugar. Bring to a boil, cover with a round of parchment paper, and simmer for 8 to 10 minutes. Then remove the paper and continue cooking until all the liquid has evaporated. Watch carefully at this point because the onions can burn easily. We just want to color them lightly, so shake the pan frequently until they are slightly golden. In this pan, the chef will cook the mushrooms. He has already put in 2 tablespoons of butter. Now add the mushrooms, a little pepper and salt. Sear rapidly until all the liquid has evaporated. Don't cook them too long. The chef has put some cold water in this pan.
Ajoute
Now add the lardons.
les lardons.
Bring the water to a boil,
Et
then
nous
let
allons
it
porter
simmer
à l'huile
2
chaud
minutes to
pendant
blanch
2
the
minutes
lardons.
pour
This
blanchir les
removes
lardons
part of the
et
salt.
les dessaler éventuellement.
Now the chicken is cooked.
Voilà, je crois que c'est réussi. Nous allons donc maintenant filtrer
Remove the
cette
pieces
sauce.
from the pan and set it aside.
Le rondeau qui n'est pas chaud. Ici, c'est bon. Et je verse. Non, lève. Lève.
Strain the sauce through a fine strainer and extract all the juices. Then discard the contents of the strainer. Afterwards, return the sauce to the cooking pan and let it simmer gently to reduce a little and thicken slightly.
Fondu.
Here, some butter has been melted over simmering water, a bain-marie.
Je
The chef is brushing the heart-shaped croutons with the melted butter. The croutons were cut with a cookie cutter. Arrange them on a baking sheet and toast them in a preheated oven at 425 degrees Fahrenheit. While the sauce is reducing, the chef will heat 2 tablespoons of oil and 2 tablespoons of butter. In it, saute the lardons until crisp and golden. Remember, the lardons have already been blanched for 2 minutes in simmering water, drained, and then rinsed under cold running water to refresh them.
Tout petit peu dans le beurre. Nous ajoutons ensuite les champignons dans les
Put the
lardons.
mushrooms and the pearl onions into the lardons. Let everything cook together for a few seconds before adding this garnish to the sauce.
Également. Tout ceci la cocotte. Puis la viande.
Now add the chicken to the sauce and garnish and cook for a few minutes to blend the flavors well. The croutons are now toasted.
Nous sortons donc, n'est-ce pas,
This is how you could present the coq au vin for an individual serving. And this is an example of presentation in a serving platter. The round end of the croutons have been dipped, first in the sauce and then in chopped parsley. Coq au vin is generally served with pommes de terre à l'anglaise, boiled potatoes, or fresh pasta. For the wine, a red Burgundy would be the best, as we said earlier. Like the students, you too will benefit from the chef's experience. Nearly a century of experience in teaching gastronomy. French cuisine is a world in itself. Born of the soil, it is the fruit of long accumulated experience, a vivid expression of a culture, an art of living. And don't forget, there are 7 more cassettes available with exclusive recipes from Cordon Bleu.